Masechet Shabbos daf kuf nun hey. The Gemara brings machlokes if you mutter on Shabbos to make oichel roy for behema shvui oichel mashvinan, make a bundle of straw that wasn't able to be eaten by a hema. You could untie it on Shabbos. That's shvui oichla. But mitzrach ba'oichla, something that's already edible for an animal, you can't be matriach on Shabbos. Or the other way around, that to make a oichel you can't do, but mitzrach ba'oichla you could do. Nice, we paskin that a shvuya oichel you could be makel to make a oichel into oichel. So the Bir Halacha brings a raya from this Gemara that a shvuya oichel mashvinan you could make oichel into oichel. So you see from here that there's no halacha of Makeh bpatish by bochalin, because if there would be halacha of Makeh bpatish by bochalin, now that you're taking and untying the string around the straw and make it edible for an animal, that's Makeh bpatish. And the halacha asks a kasha on the shita of the Pri Megadim and the Levush that say there is an iser of Makeh bpatish by bochalin. They discussed halacha if you have chul ispelin, which is a very salty fish that's not edible without rinsing it off. And the Pri Megadim says that even rinsing it off with cold water should be an iser of Makeh bpatish. Similar, they discuss it should be also bishul b'chama, which we discussed in the Shir Daf Lamed Tesam and Aleph, that although bishul b'chama doesn't have a din of bishul, but it should be also as Makeh bpatish. So the Bir Halacha says, you see from Al Gemara that there's no halacha Makeh bpatish b'chlal by oichlin. However, many achronim in Mibina and other achronim bring a raya from the Yerushalmi that says clearly there is an isser of Makeh bpatish by oichlin. And the Mibina asks, if that's the case, then it should be also to pour water into schnapps, which is unedible without being diluted with water, or wine that's unedible without diluting the water. It should be Makeh bpatish. And he says similarly, if a syrup that's only eaten with mixing with seltzer, it should be a problem of Makeh bpatish. However, there are many achronim, Ayin Shuvas Marsham, and others that say that we don't paskin like the Yerushalmi because the Bavli argues on the Yerushalmi like the opinion of the Bir Halacha, and the Marsham is matir to dilute schnapps, which is unedible without being diluted. We don't paskin that this is a Makeh bpatish by bochalin. I the Sefer Chedushim Ubiurim from Chaim Greinemin that brings many kashas. That on one hand there's rayas the Bir Halacha that there's no Makeh bpatish by bochalin. On the other hand, there's Yerushalmi that says there is Makeh bpatish. So he says there's two terutzim to be miyashiv the contradiction. First of all, he says that only when you misakin the oichel mamish, he says you're allowed to prepare oichel for Shabbos when it's not boyer, when it's not mavashal. Only when you're changing the oichel, that means you're making it into a new item and it's not nicker the previous state, like when you make a pashtida. But if in our case that you have a bundle of straw, that the straw is still straw, but now you're making it edible for the animal, you're not changing the actual straw, that's not considered Makeh bpatish. Then he says another svara that in a situation when you don't do the Makeh bpatish right away when you masaken the oichel, so then you megala das that you're not copied on the fact that it's not mesuken totally. So he says, in such a situation, it's like the Gemara says in the Ayin Daled, that something you're not copied on doesn't have halacha Makeh bpatish. Ayin the Mibina that between dvorav that asks the kasha that if you say like his opinion that there is an iser of Makeh bpatish by bochalin, so he says that if that's the case, then every mavashal should have, besides the iser mavashal, also should have halacha Makeh bpatish. On that he says two terutzim. One teretz he says there's mavu in the Meiri on the Kuf Daled Amid Beis that we spoke out b'siyat Shmai on the Shir Daf Kuf Daled. There's only a Makeh bpatish when you finish the actual malacha that you're doing, and afterwards you're doing like the finishing touches. That's Makeh bpatish. If you don't finish yet the actual malacha, like you in the middle of writing a oisis of Sefer Torah, that's not Makeh bpatish, or you're in the middle of sewing a garment, that's part of the Iker HaMalacha, that's not Makeh bpatish. It's only the finishing touches at the end. And in the Shurim of Kuf Beis that we spoke at, another svara, similar svara from the Makeh and Mishnah, that the Miri over here is saying, like the Svasemis and of Kuf Beis, that it's a svara Makeh bpatish. Makeh bpatish is only a finishing touch after you finish the malacha. However, the Makeh and Mishnah says a different svara, that it's a klal on all malachas that you can't be mechayiv in the Ikar HaMaisa for two malachas on one maisa. So therefore, since it's mevashal, it can't be also Makeh bpatish. The Imibina says another svara according to Rashi in the Fayin Dalan and Beis, that it's something that's nigmar memela, doesn't have issa Makeh bpatish. So therefore, when you mevashal something and you don't finish up biyadayim mamish, it doesn't have a locha Makeh bpatish. However, he asks that the Rosh is mavur, not like that. That even something that's nigmar memela has a issa Makeh bpatish. Moving further on, Shlomo Zalman has a tshuva discussing the halacha of being mevashel chicken when the bones was not yet mevushel. That although the chicken itself was ready mevushel, since the bones, the marrow in the bones was not yet mevushel, it should be considered being mevashel the bones. In the Shurim Daf Kuf Malev that we mentioned the tshuva. And Shlomo Zalman has another aura at the end of the tshuva. He has an aura that let it be, besides bishul, it should be also because of noilad. Now, with the cooking that you're making, that the marrow and the bones is edible, that should be in noilad. And he brings a raya from Al Gemara that according to the Manda Omar, that shvuya oichel loy mashfinan, and the Rashi explains that this is because of noilad. You're making it now into midi dechazi, so therefore it's also because of noilad. So he says, although we don't paskin like that, that's only be something that was straw mikara, and now you're just making it fit. But when you have marrow in the bones that it doesn't have a din of a uicha b'chlal for kabbalas tumah b'chlal, and now with you cooking it, you're making it into midi dechazi, that should be issa noilad. That should be also the kuli alma. But then he says that since lo shamanu me olam issa kazeh, it must be that over here it's mutter, and he explains that since it just gets soft without a shini in the tzura, and it's mesukan memela, so because of that it's not an issa noilad the kuli alma.